This is Doug from the Forever DC302. I'm in the middle of 5700. You can see here, actually it's 5703. CN made some mistakes when they were doing preservation, and 5700 got cut up by accident. We have an unbridled access today to the Elko County Railway Museum. My company just made a small donation so they can do their work here, and it gives us an access to bring access to you because it hasn't been open. It's going to open tomorrow. So there's volunteers here prepping and cleaning and setting up stuff, but we're going to go ahead and show you, give you a glimpse of what's here. So if you come to St. Thomas, Ontario, and this is the old Michigan Central shop, and it's somewhat still functional. They do restorations and whatnot here. So we're going to go ahead and run through and show you what's here, and let's carry on. All right, for all you New York Central fans, this is a car that used to be on the 20th century. So if you're doing NYC, this is one right here. It's a Pullman car. It still says that. Now after the New York Central was done with it, they ended up selling it to Canadian Pacific. Canadian Pacific ran it for a while. I believe they it says Cascade line on it, or laying on it now, but I believe it's called the Brookdale or Brookland when they ran it. I mean, if you know more than I, please put it in the comments. I can find out. The experts here are crazy smart, so please give these guys a call and make a reservation to come, or you know, when they're open. Or I do know they do groups and events too. So what we're looking at here is the London and Port Stanley Railway. This ran from Port Stanley to St. Thomas to London, Ontario, and at that time the line was electrified. It was part of the Sir Adam Beck plan to have rural electric routes in Ontario, but it actually wasn't successful. It was taken over a couple times and bankrupted and whatnot, and they eventually ripped out the electric line, which too bad. They could use it right now. So check that out. Pantographs on the top, and we're going to go to that Elko in a second. Okay, Elko people, here it is. It's RSD 17. It's one of one. It was named the Empress of Agincourt. It served most of its time working the Toronto area, and CP ran it for an extended period, way after a lot of the Elkos were dead and gone. This thing, they did updates and updates and updates, and finally I believe they had to put a stop to running it because they had truck problems. But originally it was a high hood, and CP and their Montreal shop cut it down, like a lot of locomotives of the day. And yeah, this is the Elko. If you're an Elko guy, you've never seen this. As I said, this is it. It's one of one. So I'm just trying to pan it over so you can see the best you can. I'll get a bunch of stills too, and you can pause and take a look at that. And I'm going to slide over and get a picture of the number plate in a minute. But yeah, I know in the late 90s, Freightliner had a plant here in St. Thomas, and they went ahead and sandblasted and painted this unit and donated the paint and the efforts to the Elko County Railway Museum. So it's here, and it's your one of one Elko. This is a GMD F3 CN 9171. For people not in the know, GMD was the Canadian subsidiary plant for EMD. So a lot of your Canadian locomotives, Mexican exports, stuff that were built for Europe was built in London, Ontario. And this one here would have been built there also. So it's your relatively same. I mean, it'll obviously have CN touches or whatever they wanted to put on, but it's your classic F unit nonetheless. I believe it's up to bat for restoration, and they've got a whole bunch of tools and stuff here, so I can't really get any closer to this right now. But hopefully in the future they can get her spiffed back up, and that'll be great. Another little fantastic piece too over there by that F unit. You have the CN spreader, twin wing spreader. Quite a lump of iron. It's painted up nice. I believe, and don't quote me, I think it was steam operated at one point and then switched over to fuel oil after that. But yeah, so I'm going to pan over. You can get another good scope of how big the shop is. Like when this shop in its heyday would have been doing large repairs for the Michigan Central and then the New York Central after that. So they were forging parts and milling stuff in here, and yeah, I've been here several times and I'm always impressed every time I come. Alright, well, we got the Caboose open, so we can check this out. It's your typical Canadian style wooden caboose. Way cool. Smells old. If you like that kind of thing. Sink and water tank. Stove. Office. We've been pulled down bunks. Turn around here. Pretty cool. Just for reference, just to show you the size of this place, the fan and the heating that it required. This is just the fan and the drive to push air around in this place. It's phenomenal. Like, I don't know how many amps that engine would be in there, but it's just an incredible thing. All right, so Elko County Railway Museum. We're at their prototypical layout. So the layout is actually modeled the area, and it's just been flipped over to DCC. So nobody's actually seen it run yet on DCC. You're actually seeing it for the first time. As I said, the museum's not open yet. So yeah, this layout has always been rather impressive. As I said, it's prototypical to the area. As I said, it was on the CASO line, so it would have been like New York Central, the Pierre Marquette, New Chessie, the B&O CNO before the merger, the Wabash. So this was, as I said, St. Thomas was referred to the railway city. So then it still kind of is. And most of these tracks now that you see here are ripped out. So, I mean, unless you know what you're looking at and the scars on the land, I mean, there's nothing to look at. So this is a good documentation of what's left. Also, when we make a turn into the collection here, you'll see that there's a model of there's a model of the the St. Thomas Station that Sparky made on his layout. But one of the original kits is here at the museum. I believe it was one of 7. Sparky will know more than I, as that he's the St. Thomas Station expert more than me. And this is off the side of the layout, so this would have been like the Port Stanley railway, like the electrified line, and the cars that are out in the shop. This kind of shows the harbor and the lift bridge of Port Stanley. And then, as I said, it finishes off here at Springfield. And then makes the loop back around. I'm going to take a break here and then jump into that little room and see if we can get a picture of that station. I told you earlier in the video that I talk about a technological innovation back in the day. The floor in the shop is made out of a compressed wood called creolite. Apparently the product is still built. So what this floor was designed to do in the shops was to not be so hard on the workers who worked in the shops. So instead of standing on concrete all day, they stood on this wood product that wasn't flammable, and it didn't give you fatigue on your feet standing in a concrete shop all day. So you think technology's now, this was technology then. They've got some new pieces coming in to replace the floor, but being the place is historic, they had to go to the powers that be who protect historical buildings and let them know that they were replacing pieces. Just a quick note, there's not a whole bunch of artifacts left of the Canadian Southern Railway, but that piece of cement is actually the crest for the Canadian Southern, so it's been kept for prosperity. I'm going to pan down real slow, and you can see all the railways that either had shops here or ran through St. Thomas or had a major stop here. And there might be some names on here you recognize, there might be some that you don't. Here, the other side of Elgin County Rail Museum, and this is their ride-along speeder collection. So yeah, your hand cart and your velocipedes, and then they got a small collection of Fairmount speeders, the New York Central one, some Grand Trunk Western, the CNO, a couple CNs. Fantastic. I wish I need one of these, to be honest, but yeah, it's great that they're here and they're very well documented. And again, if you get a chance to get to St. Thomas, the Railway City, come please check this place out. There's not another place like it, truly. Alright, well, we kind of went backwards here because we got the backstage pass today, but this is what you're going to see when you're coming into the museum here. This is kind of the lobby entrance. As I say, they're still doing some cleaning and setting some stuff up. And the gift shop here for the museum. You might see a volunteer here and there kicking around. As I said, they're trying to get it all ready for tomorrow. So and when you come, this will be where you be giving your donation for the museum. And please, if you can, please come. Here's the prices here on the wall. Nothing out of hand. You got little kids or whatever, I would highly say that this would be a good day for you. And we're going to finish off here in the entrance and start heading outside just so you can get a grasp of how big this place really is. Okay, here's the original slide table. The Elko County Railway Museum is actually in the process of refurbishing it. This is how they move locomotives from one bay to another bay and into the aligning tracks that face the east and put them on the tracks that they needed to get home or come in on. So I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to jump on top of the slide table. And as I said, they were just replacing some decking. I know they're doing some work on the drivetrain. And I was just talking to a couple of the members, and they're going to be doing work in the powerhouse here right shortly. So this will be good once it's running and going again. The only problem is it's somewhat landlocked now here. Also, I was talking to one of the board members, and they were saying that they're going to be selling an adjacent lot off the other side of the museum. Then they're taking some of the trackage that they have to remove anyway and put it to the other side of the museum so it's more usable. So this puts us on the north side of the shop. Give you a pan down here. It used to be a fuel and oiling stop. The main line was just to the right side, the CASO. So facing where I'm facing would be here in St. Thomas. I'm facing it would end up in Windsor. And if you follow that piece of sidewalk there and kept going that way, that would take you to Niagara Falls. Here's the tail end of the slide table here. Just another shot of one of the fueling stands. If you go on the tube there and check out Larry Broadbent, he's got some videos on there, some when he was younger and whatnot, and photography of when this was all live. And he's got a really nice picture on there of a Conrail locomotive sitting right on this corner. So I'm going to put a link in the bottom, and you can check out his stuff too. Alright, we're on the west side of the shop now. These here were part of the Port Stanley Incline Railway. And I think this is about all that's left of it. If you go back into where the model trains were, they did model it, so you can see how it used to be. And there's these cars here are also owned by the railway, and you can see they're kind of painted up real funky like. But I never did touch on it yet. One of the big claims to fame for St. Thomas is that Jumbo, the elephant, the circus elephant, the Barnum and Bailey elephant, just a further, maybe about a mile or so up the track, was hit by a train and killed. He didn't die right away, but they ended up taxiderming him and sending him to England. We'll go on the other side of the town here yet this afternoon, and there's a statue over there of the life size of him. You go check that out. And check these out, pretty neat. I'll pan over here, and this is the west side of the shop. So in that one small spot is where the model train exhibit is, and over here is the entrance. I believe that was pump house originally and loading docks, and this used to be just littered with tracks. They've been slowly ripping them out as time goes on. Alright, well, we've left the Elko County Railway Museum. We just kind of walked around the corner. And here's the old CASO station. This is what I believe was a Spanish style or a Spanish architecture that was followed when they built it. We're going to see if we can go through it, take a walk around. As I said, if you want to see a model of this station, you can just pause and the one we videoed over in the Elko County Railway Museum, or you can go to Sparky's channel. He took a couple years to build this, so if you want to see a model of what this building looks like, that's a good place to start. Alright, I'm at the center of the station here now, the main entranceway. And you can see on the floor, it's sketched actually the geographic route around the lakes, like a railway map, and the railways on these ties and dates. We're in the east wing of the station, and this is the Canadian Southern waiting room. This is where you would have waited to get on the train. These are the doors you would walk through to get to your train. You didn't take the main entranceway. Schedule. Painting of back in the day. Now we're starting to head into the Canadian Southern dining room. This is where, when you were waiting for the train or catching your next train, it would have been served food, drink, cards, relaxation, waiting for your next train. Still live here now. They use the station for events, and I believe you can also rent it for receptions and whatnot. It's some of the funds that I imagine they use to keep the place going. Just look how massive this place is. It's crazy. And this is just the first floor of it. There's another floor with ceilings this high upstairs. So you can imagine waiting for your New York Central or your Michigan Central passenger, your 20th century. This is where you would have sat and ate. To get that, you could have took a train from New York City, stopped here, and would have kept on going through to Windsor, Detroit, then to Chicago. Just another quick shot before we leave the dining room. I thought I'd get a shot of these doors going trackside and the wooden shutter blinds that they've installed on every window. Like the shutters have got to be over 9 feet tall, easily. I don't have my measuring tape, but just impressive. We're heading to the second floor of the CASO station, and you got some cool pictures on the wall here. Here's an actually pretty cool shot there. And we'll finish going upstairs. So the second floor of the CASO station back in the day would have been homes for executive offices for the railway. They also would have probably had some government offices in them to handle excise and customs. Well, here's a model of the station in the second floor, and above it is actually the floor plan for the station with a design date of June 13th, 1914. Pretty darn cool. Here you go, Timken roller bearing. This chunk of steel right here revolutionized railways, or railroads if you're in the United States. From 1946 to 2013 here in St. Thomas, Timken Bearing had a plant here and built bearings just like this. the whole world. Because people are really into railroading, you'll appreciate this, I guess. Continue on. We're on the east side of the station now. This side here, now they're fixing it all up. Like you can see the work they've had to do to get it even remotely to how it is now. The east side of the station had bedrooms in it. People overnighting, or their train wasn't here till the next day on this. So this is like 1/4 of the east side wing. And a lot of it's been turned into offices for municipal government, lawyers' offices. There's the office for the Railway Hall of Fame, I believe, is here. And but back in the day, this end of the station was bedrooms. So you got yourself your cot, and however it you had to stay the night, or your train wasn't here till the next day. Check out that hall. That's crazy. Now they have it, although they've kept it fairly historically accurate, it's 2021, they've had to add things like accessible elevators and new washrooms and stuff like that. So if you do come, and it has those amenities, it's accessible. Even outside is pretty decent that way for accessibility, if that's something you're looking into having to deal with. There's a lot of artifacts here. There's a lot of stuff hanging on the walls. I mean, it'd take me all day to go over everything that's in this place, but you can just imagine back in the day when this was a bustling station, of the crowds of people that would have went in and out, especially during the wars. So yeah, I'm just kind of panning down the hall here just to give you a grasp of how big this station truly is. Just to give some perspective, this is the south side of the museum. We're back outside. This is track side. So back in the day, this was just a series of tracks. There would have been New York Central train stopped here, even right to the late, I think, you have to quote me on this one, 1988. Amtrak still had a stop here. We're just walking down from the station to the BX Tower, and we noticed on the one siding here that it's what's left over of an old a diesel fueling station right here. We're here at the BX Tower. So this signal tower here, the importance with this is if you're looking south here down this street, this would have been the Port Stanley Railway. It would have went from Port Stanley to St. Thomas to London. And on this track here would have been the Michigan Central. Well, there was really no signaling or not adequate safeties in place, and what happened where I'm standing right now is a picnic train left Port Stanley coming north. A Michigan Central train hauling oil came through here at speed, and they hit each other, and the resulting crash, I believe, ended up with 16 casualties. And I believe the way the newspaper articles read is that they couldn't find the bodies after. I believe they said it was cremation, death by cremation. I believe it was another 60 people that were hurt. So after that was done, they erected this tower and then put all the switching and everything in this tower and signaling and controlling for the result of that crash. Now the Port Stanley London Railway is one of the first and oldest functioning railways in Ontario. So yeah, that's the significance of the BX Tower. We're concluding our St. Thomas trip to the museum and to the CASO station. We're finishing up here at Railway City Brewery. As you see, we're having a couple of beers, and I don't believe we're going to drink her dry. They're making some right now. They do ship. I talked to the owner, and they do ship to the US. They ship by Purolator, so you can go to the website and check out what they have to offer. And he says that they don't usually have any problems shipping to the US if somebody in America wants something from there. And good news, they're going to be an official sponsor of the channel, so hey, yay that. We got a couple projects together that are going to happen. Maybe there might be a Railway City Brewery train in the works. So the owner's pretty chill, and we're going to be doing some more videos and possibly some interviews and stuff right here. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you've enjoyed what we enjoyed today. Thank you.